Sterling's Mafia Spot Check has her Man Panicking Volume 1 to test my fiance's loyalty. Dad ordered me to drop an unannounced on the dock he supervises. I figured it was just Quinn formality. Before the two families' strategic wedding, the instant I stepped inside the warehouse I spotted Quinn little white dress flower child, polishing Quinn brand new dessert eagle like it was Quinn toy. Wow, this gold one is so pretty. She lifted the gun and, imitating some movie scene, blew across the muzzle. The crew beside her went white, yanked it away. So called. Weren't you playing poker in the back room? How'd you wander out here? The woman stuck out her tongue playfully. Heh, lousy cards needed. Quinn luck change stroll. Before she finished, the gun snagged the canvas cover on the weapons rack. He metallic avalanche crashed to the floor. Quinn couple of sidearms even discharged. Every man in the warehouse broke into Quinn cold sweat. I grabbed Quinn trembling crew and muttered, "Who the hell let that idiot in?" He signaled me to shush. "Keep your voice down, that's Lucas's heart and soul. Word is he's crossed half the bosses for her. You knew, don't worry, she usually just warms his bed, stays out of business." My temples were pounding, she's his heart and soul, so what am I, merchandise to seal the alliance? I pulled out my phone and called Dad. "Dad, the wedding's off. I want the entire Cross family buried with him." I walk into the warehouse. He woman in white is polishing Quinn pistol. It's the newest gold-plated dessert eagle, dazzling. Wow, so gorgeous. She raises it to her eyes, stroking it fondly. Lucas said this custom piece is prettier than your ugly black ones. She lifts it like an actress, puffs across the barrel. The crew beside her turns chalk white, sweat trickling. He snatches the gun, hands shaking, so called. "You're supposed to be in the back room playing cards. Why come out here?" His voice quivers. "It's dangerous, please go back." The woman pouts, tongue peeking out. "Bad hand, had to change my luck." "Relax, it won't go off." She flicks the gun toward the rack to hang it back up. The barrel hooks the canvas cover, crash. Dozens of Dragna and short firearms slide off. Clanging on concrete, few fire bullets shriek into the ceiling, chips and dust raining down. Everybody dives for cover. I haul Quinn shaking crew from behind Quinn crate. "Who brought that moron in?" He puts Quinn finger to his lips, eyes panicked. "Quiet, she's Lucas's darling. They say he's flipped on big shots for her." He adds in Quinn whisper, "You knew? She normally just sleeps with him, never leaves the room, no bother to us." My head throbs. She's the darling, then what am I? Crew scramble to gather the discharged guns. Not one dares scold the woman, instead they fuss over her. So-called, "You okay? That kick scare you? Wrist sore? I can't watch anymore." I flash the signet ring Dad gave me and find the floor boss. Seeing the ring, his face turns grave. "You with Taylor? Lucas is offshore, won't be back for 2 days. I'm Jason. What are Taylor's orders?" I keep my face blank. Taylor sent documents and asked me to review Lucas's management. Jason's expression darkens. "Let's talk over there." He leads me to the lounge. Along the way I overhear crew gossip. So-called lost at cards last night. Fired Quinn flare gun into the roof. Lucas'll have to patch it again. Remember when she almost torched the kitchen? Lucas scolded her, she cried, he caved. Inside the lounge Jason pours tea, cautious. "Miss, you really Taylor's envoy?" Honestly, Lucas's fiancé is Quinn nightmare young, reckless, spoiled rotten. She's turned the yard into Quinn circus. I stay silent. Through the blinds I watch Hannah ordering to crew to stack cases of fresh cargo into Quinn makeshift swing. Every box bears Quinn hazard sticker. Nearby workers fume but say nothing. I decide to stay. Let Lucas return and explain who this so-called really is. Jason takes me on Quinn tour of every sector. At the far end stands Quinn walk-in vault containing the dock's master ledgers and client files. On the door someone has scrawled Quinn line of numbers and marker, Quinn clumsy heart beside them. Lucas's birthday I'll never forget. I point at the graffiti. "What's that?" Jason grimaces, voice dropping. "The weapons locker combo. So-called always forgot it and called Lucas mid-meeting, once interrupting Quinn video conference with South American buyers. Lucas got tired of it, told her to write it there." He hesitates, then adds, "Lucas even praised her, said she was clever, hiding the code in plain sight." I almost laugh in fury. He treats everyone's life like Quinn joke. Just then, Quinn racket erupts outside. Hannah has arrived with him flock of dolled-up girlfriends. They chattered like sparrows while exploring the warehouse. "Hannah, your Lucas's place is so cool. Guns everywhere. Just like in the movies. Can I touch one?" Hannah lifted her chin proudly. "Of course. The whole dock belongs to us. Play all you want." They wandered to him corner. Several waist-high, sealed crates were stacked there. Hannah decided the boxes ruined the tour route for her girlfriends. She waved at the nearest crew. "Hey, move these crappy crates, they're blocking my shot." The crew looked pained. "So-called, those are heavy and they're priority cargo." Lucas said not to touch them. Hannah lost patience. "What's so special?" Just junk, right? Then dump them in the ocean. Problem solved. She giggled at her friends. See? More space and we'll get Quinn nice splash. The crates held high-grade microchips. They were the key to Dad's next move. He handful of crew actually obeyed, lifting Quinn crate and heading for the pier edge. I raised my voice. Stop. It wasn't loud, but every man froze. I stared at Hannah, ice cold. What's in that box is worth 10 times the lives of you and your whole family. You sure you want to toss it? My aura stunned her. She froze, then flushed with humiliation. Who do you think you are? This is Lucas's turf. But after that single retort, her eyes reddened and her lips trembled, tears about to spill. She stamped her foot and ran off to find Jason, pointing at me, sobbing, Jason. That woman scared me with nasty words. She won't even let me tidy up. Throw her out of the dock. Jason stood between us, sweat beading. In the end he sided with Hannah. He came over to placate me. Sterling, so-called, just wants the place neat. Don't mind her. If the cargo's lost, Lucas will figure something out, he said, as Dragna is so-called's happy. Quinn, little loss is nothing. Don't make her cry. Those words chilled me degree by degree. I remembered Lucas standing before Dad, chest puffed, swearing the docks would run leak-proof. Every shipment absolutely safe. Now the yard was nothing but his mistress's playground. Suddenly Quinn's soldier bolted up, face chalk white. Jason, Azure is on the phone. They say we jacked Quinn load of theirs. Jason's expression snapped. When? Where? The soldier was near tears. Yesterday afternoon off the Eastern Reef. Azure claims our guys in Quinn's speedboat blew up their ship with plastic explosives. Their crew went into the drink. Jason spun toward Hannah. Yesterday afternoon she had taken Quinn's speedboat out to blow up fish. She'd mistaken their boat for him big game catch. Next second every line in the headquarters office lit up. All of them Azure demanding blood, promising to storm the pier if we didn't answer. Lucas had to come back and clean up this mess. I powered down my phone and waited for the show to start. Vincent, the Azure boss, rolled in with dozens of soldiers. He black mass ringed the warehouse, steel glinting, killing intent thick enough to slice. Jason and the other lieutenants cowered inside headquarters, too scared to show their faces. The whole dock fell dead silent. Lucas, get your ass out here. Vincent's roar cracked through the open warehouse like thunder. Just then the backroom door opened. Hannah shuffled out in Quinn pink lace nightie, yawning, clearly woken by the noise, irritation all over her face. Spotting the crowd, she felt no fear. Instead she planted her hands on her hips and scolded, Hey, who are you jerks? Making Quinn racket at noon. Don't you know this is Lucas's turf? Disturb my beauty sleep and pay the price. One of Vincent's crew couldn't help it. Quinn's snort escaped. Vincent's face went blacker. Inside the office Jason and company turned green. While everyone else froze, I stepped out of the lounge. I walked straight up to Vincent. Vincent, I'm Sterling. Avery, this place I'm in charge. Vincent's murderous glare softened Quinn notch, but he offered no courtesy. He jabbed Quinn finger at the clueless Hannah. Sterling, I'll give your family face. But the underworld has rules. Break them, pay the price. My goods, my men gone. Today, either I leave with the cargo or with one of her hands. Cold, blunt, final. Hannah finally understood, her face blanched and she staggered back to steps. I took in her terrified stupidity and answered Vincent calmly. Sterling ground doesn't break rules. The person I'll hand over. The words dropped and not only Hannah but also Jason paled. He burst from headquarters, pleading, Sterling, no. She's Lucas's darling. When he finds out we're all dead. My glance cut him like glass. Relax. Lucas won't live Dragna enough to touch you. Or do Sterling words mean nothing here? Jason shuddered under that stare. I signaled the 2 bodyguards I'd brought. They moved instantly, seizing Hannah by each arm. Only then did terror hit. She screamed, thrashing wildly, let go of me, I'm your so-called. Lucas will skin you alive. Don't you dare. Her shrieks were shrill and ridiculous. As they pinned her, she somehow yanked her phone free. Crying, fumbling, she dialed Lucas. I didn't stop her. The call connected. Hannah's heart-rending shriek was the first thing to travel down the line. Lucas, help me. Some psycho woman's going to hack my hand off. Lucas's roar followed Quinn second later. Who the hell dares touch my people? I'm on my way back. Don't blame me for what happens next. His voice cracked with rage, thick with the arrogance of Quinn man who thought he owned the world. I plucked the phone from Hannah's trembling fingers. I let out Quinn's soft laugh against the receiver. Lucas, who exactly are you planning to kill? Before the howl on the other end could subside, I tossed the handset onto the table and hit speaker. Slowly I raised the short blade, drawing Quinn lazy arc through the air until the point hovered an inch from Hannah's fear-contorted face. Her eyes bulged like brass bells, tears and snot smeared into Quinn's glistening mask, whimpering pleas burbling uselessly from her throat. No, Lucas's tornado-like roar burst from the phone. I twisted the edge, but instead of striking, I merely patted the ice-cold flat of the knife against Hannah's bloodless cheek. The chill metal shot through her like Quinn bolt. She convulsed, eyes rolling back, and collapsed in Quinn faint. I straightened, flicked the knife to the bodyguard beside me, and pulled out Quinn handkerchief to wipe my hands as though I'd just touched something filthy. I cupped Quinn fist toward Vincent. Vincent, this girl doesn't know the rules and broke them. By right, Sterling handles the punishment. Still, she's Lucas's woman. Today I give Azure proper accounting. I tilted my head at the two bodyguards I'd brought. They stepped forward at once, hooking Hannah's limp arms and lifting her off the floor. Take her downstairs and lock her up. No one sees her without my order. My voice was winter steel. I turned back to Vincent. Vincent, Sterling will keep her on Quinn's short leash. Your loss, Sterling, will repay double within 3 days. The code of the waterfront holds, and we'll swallow the humiliation we earned. Vincent studied me, and his gaze shifted completely from the casual disdain of Quinn moment ago to something level, almost wary. He returned the fist cup salute. Sterling, the rumors were an understatement. Fair play, and you've given Azure every face we need. Done. Today ends here. He swept out with his men, not mentioning compensation again. With calm and calculation, I had won Sterling's respect back. I walked to the table, ignored Lucas's stream of curses still pouring from the phone, and ended the call. Silence felt like fresh oxygen. I pulled out my own phone and in front of everyone, redialed Dad. Dad, the strategic wedding is off. The doc, I'm taking over personally. My gaze swept the room, pinning every petrified face. As for Lucas, insubordination and an attempt to deceive the family, what's the punishment? On the other end, Dad's voice was glacial absolute. Athena, cleaning house is your first lesson as heir. Handle it yourself. Don't ask me again. The line went dead. With that click, he signed Lucas's death warrant. Hands sealed my authority over Sterling. Lucas's soldiers, the same men who had hesitated hours ago, now watched me with nothing short of awe. Within Quinn days, Sterling had Lucas bound and delivered to me. He was broken. The hero who had shielded his mistress dropped to his knees. Snot and tears dripping to the concrete, he knocked his forehead against the floor. No trace of swagger left. Athena, no Sterling. I was wrong. I'm lower than dirt. That bitch blinded me. For old time's sake, spare my life. Each word was punctuated by him wet thud as his head met the ground. Hannah, hearing Lucas call her Quinn bitch, went slack with disbelief. She still hadn't grasped the situation, one hand already mangled. She sobbed at me, you can't do this to Lucas. He just loves me. Love isn't Quinn crime. I let the stupidity roll off me like rain off waxed steel. I gave Jason my first order. Tie them both, gags in. Jason and the lieutenants, who now knew which way the wind blew, moved without hesitation. Ropes and torn cloth cut off the begging. Within seconds the pair writhed on the floor like silkworms. Commotion erupted at the doorway. Lucas's parents barreled in. His mother took one look at her trust son and shrieked. Eyes bloodshot. Sterling, let Lucas go. He helped Sterling build this empire. Credit must count for something. His father wore Quinn's sagely mask, voice reasonable and oily. Emery, always leave Quinn way out. Aren't you afraid of karma? This will ruin Sterling's name. I smiled thinly and signaled. His second ledger slapped onto the floor between us. Pages fluttered across the tie-leech line Quinn's scalpel. They showed how Lucas embezzled to buy Hannah's parents' Quinn downtown penthouse worth $10 million. How he gifted her little brother Quinn $1 million supercar. How he doled out Hannah's monthly allowance of half Quinn million plus handbags and jewels. How he funneled funds to cover her clan's gambling markers. I let them stare at the numbers. Now we can discuss exactly what kind of credit he earned. Every entry in that ledger screamed betrayal. He $10 million luxury condo for Hannah's parents, smack in the city center. He brand new $1 million supercar for her kid brother. $500,000 pocket money to Hannah each month, handbags. And diamonds extra. Wire after wire plugging the black hole of her family's casino debts. Jason stepped forward, facing me and facing Lucas's parents. He reported. Because Hannah wanted to blast fish, we paid Azure $30 million in damages. Lucas told us to bury it, siphoning the money from other ventures. That's not even in this ledger. Under the mountain of evidence, Lucas's mother rolled her eyes and fainted dead away. His father trembled, finger hovering over his gagged, writhing son, speechless. The reception room dissolved into chaos. Lucas's former lieutenants, seeing the tide had turned, knelt one after another. Sterling, we're guilty. We've got things to expose too. Lucas was also running Quinn bootleg salt racket with the South Side behind the company's back. He used Harbor Point boats to haul black market cargo. Every dollar went straight into his own pocket. When the wall starts to fall, everyone pushes. Loyalty that had once been rock solid was now nothing more than Quinn bargaining chip for survival. I watched the circus in front of me and felt only disgust. I gave the order to Jason. Get that woman, I pointed at Hannah, who was still shrieking like Quinn Banshee, off the pier and make sure she never sets foot here again. Jason moved instantly, soldiers flanking him. Hannah's sobs and curses vanished beyond the gate. I gave one last glance at Lucas, limp as wet cement, and at his dazed parents. As for them, take them to Riley. Wait for my father. Riley, the air so cold it pressed on your lungs. This was where Sterling judged traitors. Lucas and his parents knelt in the center, trembling like sieves. The door swung open. My father walked in, flanked by the council, measured steps falling like gavels. He didn't look at anyone, he simply took the high seat, authority radiating without Quinn word. The family elders followed, settling into their chairs, eyes glacial as they studied the three kneeling figures. The pressure in the hall was suffocating. Lucas broke completely. He scrabbled forward on his knees, kodoing until his forehead smacked marble. Sir Sterling, I was wrong. I let greed rot my brain. Give me one more chance. I'll be your ox, your horse, anything. His father joined the plea. Taylor, honorable counsel, he's young and foolish. Spare him this once. The Cross family will pay every cent we own. My father ignored them. He turned to me, voice level. Athena, Sterling law says, fail in duty, deceive your elders, break all for limbs, and cast them out. What do you say? In front of the entire council, he placed the final verdict in my hand. He test, and Quinn transfer of power. Lucas and his father stared at me as if I were the last oxygen tank on Quinn's sinking ship. I looked at the puddle of man on the floor and smiled thinly. Crippling them means medical bills and babysitters, bad economics. I delivered my sentence without raising my voice. I hear we've opened Quinn new mining site in Africa, brutal heat, shorthanded. Send them both. Let them spend the rest of their lives buying back their stupidity and greed. At least that way the family gets something back. The punishment was crueler than shattered bones, endless labor, zero hope. Quinn living death. Lucas sagged, slack-jawed. His mother lost her mind entirely. She crawled toward me, trying to clamp her arms around my legs, shrieking like Quinn dying animal. No, Sterling. Have mercy. I'll kowtow every day. Let me be your slave. Just spare my son and my husband. I stepped aside, face blank. My father's eyes glinted with approval. He rose, voice resonant. It will be as Athena commands. Carry it out now. Riley guards dragged the pair away like sacks of trash. At the threshold, Lucas twisted his neck for one last look. No hatred left, only bottomless regret and terror carved into his skull. At last he understood exactly what he had shattered. I officially took control of Harbor Point. First order, purge every remnant of Lucas's regime. I promoted Jason and Quinn, handful of others who had proved loyal and competent during the crisis. I shredded Lucas's favoritism policies. Hammered out Quinn new code of rewards and punishments, clear, uncompromising. Under the crackdown, the docks snapped into line. The rot dried up overnight. Word on Hannah reached me soon enough, booted out penniless. She ran to the sisters who once fawned over her. They laughed her out of their lounges. Someone saw her haunting the doors of Quinn Private Club. Security shooed her off like Quinn's stray dog. Without Lucas's wallet, her pretty face was worthless. Weeks later, Quinn Ragged Wraith appeared outside the gate. Hannah. She begged Jason, let her in, give her Quinn mop and bucket, anything to serve me. Jason relayed her groveling verbatim. Emery, I know I was wrong. I've always admired you, you're gorgeous and capable, and I'm nothing. Let me stay and wait on you. I found it equal parts pathetic and hilarious. I told Jason to hand her an envelope with him few $1,000s and Quinn one-way bus ticket back to her backwater town. Make it clear, if I ever see her face again, the ticket will be to him far uglier place. That was my final scrap of mercy. A month later, the first dispatch from the African mine landed on my desk. Photos attached. Lucas and his father, shirtless, skin cracked and roasted black, swinging pickaxes under Quinn white-hot sky, eyes already dead. The note said they tried balking and slacking. The overseer's whip educated them. Now they shuffle through hell. Every sunrise, Quinn defeat. Vincent of Azure invited me to tea. Over the course of an hour, he buried the hatchet, then offered me 3 joint ventures, promising serious profit. He studied me with an equal's gaze, no condescension, only respect. Emery, you've got bigger fangs than your old man. Our organization should stay close. At the weekend family dinner, father raised his glass to me. Athena, excellently done. You exceeded my expectations, ruthless and steady in one stroke. Even the harshest council elder nodded. The handling upheld Sterling prestige. And Sterling rules flawless. I stand now at the floor-to-ceiling window of the dockside headquarters, highest point of the yard. Spread below me is my empire, freighters gliding in and out, cranes pacing the sky, everything running with clockwork precision. Harbor Point breathes on my command and every breath turns to gold. When I thought of Lucas again, my heart was still water. He felt like Quinn, cheap clown, ridiculous and pitiful. Those people and those events had crumbled into historical dust. They no longer had anything to do with me. Several months later, I received Quinn letter that had been relayed from Africa. It was from Lucas. The paper was stained, the scrawl wandered, whole lines bleared by sweat. Page after page was incoherent apology and descriptions of his miserable life. He wrote that he worked 18 hours Quinn day, ate slops, slept on mud. At the end came his sick love and longing. He said he survived each day only by remembering my kindness, that only now did he realize I had been the one person in the world who had ever been good to him. I read the first few lines, then dropped the letter straight into the shredder. The hum of the shredder was my final answer to him, but the matter did not end there. Lucas's mother actually came looking for me. She looked old and haggard, her hair white, her clothes worn, her eyes cloudy. She knelt at the entrance, begging for him, meeting, drawing stares from every soldier passing by. I stepped out of the elevator and saw the scene. I had her brought upstairs. Inside my office, she fell to her knees again with him. Thud. She wept and kowtowed, her voice hoarse. Sterling, please, for the sake of Quinn, woman now alone and helpless, let Lucas come back. He knows he was wrong, he truly knows. Even if I can only see him once, just to know he's still alive. I sat behind my desk and looked at her calmly. Auntie, he chose the road himself. Digging in an African mine, at least he's breathing. If he'd stayed here, by Sterling rules the grass on his grave would be 3 feet high. You ought to be grateful. My words stopped her sobs, every trace of color left her face. Right then my secretary knocked and entered, her expression odd. Jamie, there's another woman outside, Cameron, insisting on seeing you. No appointment, and she forced her way past. Before I could speak, an even more unexpected person burst in. It was Hannah. She carried Quinn huge belly at least 7 or 8 months. Under Quinn cheap maternity dress that didn't fit. Seeing Lucas's mother on the floor, then seeing me, she actually believed she could use the child as Quinn bargaining chip. She cradled her stomach and said, Emery, I know you hate Lucas, but the child is innocent. Just let him come back and look at his own flesh and blood. This is the Cross family's root. The kneeling old woman heard the words Cross family's root as if they were Quinn. Shot of adrenaline, she spun round. When she saw pregnant Hannah, she fell apart. Like Quinn madwoman, she lunged and clawed at Hannah, shrieking, It's all you, Jinx. You ruined my son, you vixen. You dare carry his brat? I'll kill you. Kill the little bastard. Hannah was knocked to the floor, shielding her belly, screaming, Crazy hag. This is Cross family blood, touch me and see what happens. The 2 women rolled across my office lobby, clawing and howling, Quinn's shameful spectacle. One fought for her son, the other for the chip in her womb. I watched this farce born of stupidity and greed, shook my head, turned and stepped into my private elevator, leaving their wails and shrieks sealed behind the doors. A year later, I received the final report from the African mine. Lucas's father had died in Quinn's sudden tunnel collapse. The report said he had pushed Quinn fellow townsmen clear and was crushed by falling rock. Overcome by grief, Lucas grew dazed and tried to slip away one night. His escape plan was clumsy. Guards caught him before he left the compound. During the chase, he lost his footing and plunged down an abandoned shaft, killed on impact. The report was brief, only Quinn few lines, as if it were Quinn trivial incident. After reading, I filed it away and never thought of the man again. Later, I happened to hear Hannah's ending from Jason. After her child was born, she had Quinn paternity test done. The results showed it wasn't Lucas's. The biological father turned out to be some rich kid who'd toyed with her after she was thrown out of Harbor Point. That playboy had Drogna since vanished. Now she raises the fatherless child alone in her backwater hometown, surviving on day labor. Lucas's mother, after learning that both husband and son were dead, then hearing that Hannah's baby wasn't Lucas's, snapped. She lost her mind and was committed to him psychiatric ward. With that, the whole family was erased. I used the assets recovered from Cross to plug the port's losses and set aside the rest as pensions and bonuses for the dockworkers. One evening, Dad and I stood on the pier, watching the sunset. The sea gleamed gold. He spoke earnestly, Athena, you did well. You upheld the rules and sterling honor. He patted my shoulder. Pick Quinn, man who can stand beside you, not one you have to stoop to support. I nodded, my mind perfectly clear. Soon afterward, the heir of an allied family of equal strength sought me out. His name was Adrian Quinn, man equally capable, equally formidable. We negotiated Quinn transnational partnership. In the boardroom we clashed sharp blades, then recognized Quinn kindred spirit. He admired my decisiveness, I respected his vision. When we reached agreement we smiled at one another, an understanding only the strong can share. I stand in my realm and watch it run like clockwork, flourishing. His sense of accomplishment fills me like never before. The sea breeze blows, I have forgotten the faces of Lucas and Hannah. They are specks of dust, scattered to nothing. I turn and walk side by side with Adrian, discussing the blueprint of our future. I am no longer anyone's fiancé, no longer need Quinn. Strategic wedding to secure my position.